Okay, everybody, week 4. We are a full third of the season behind us. We've got 5 amazing races again tonight as things really heat up. You can see some leaders starting to take the points, but there are battles in the middle as people try to stay in contention. We've got prizes, my fun giveaways week to week, plus you have the chance, hang out till the end, answer the trivia questions, you too could win a pilot key. And as always, an amazing interview with a community member I'm sure everyone will enjoy hearing from. With that said, sit down, strap in, and here we go. Welcome to episode 4. Do we have a show for you tonight? First off, the league is intensifying every single week. We have some favorites, racers you'd expect to see leading. We've got some underdogs, but heavy hitting underdogs who are just waiting to make their move and make this interesting. So stay tuned. The races are coming soon. First, we're going to give away some weekly prizes. Who did something interesting last week and earns a 50 Glimmer prize? Let's start off in the Orion realm. We are going to give the award this week to Imperator. Imperator gets the just didn't have enough gas award. He was fighting for the lead, fighting to stay in the front, fighting for the podium for most of the race, and then just couldn't hold on. Eventually ended up in 7th place, with a last-second move to get out of 8th. Our second Glimmer prize is going to go to Laodicean from the Andromeda realm. Laodicean wins the most entertaining race by someone who ended in the bottom half. Man, he was fighting for first for so long. He was in the lead. He was fighting, battling, just couldn't hold on. Similar award, I guess, to Imperator, but man, it was fun to watch. Our third award, 50 Glimmer, goes to Ziral. Ziral, from the Draco realm, is going to win the most entertaining last place to first place finish. For most of the race, Ziral was in the back of the pack and just did not give up, fought hard, and ended up taking the win. Our fourth prize is going to go to the Misfits. The Misfits from the Capricornus realm wins the thank you for making this interesting award. The top 3, the battle for first, was non-stop from lap 1 until the end. But I've already given an award to Limedom. Same thing for Maxby. So thanks, Misfits, for making this interesting. Finally, our 5th award from the Scorpius realm is going to go to Big Crippen. Big Crippen wins the Pogo Champion Award. He was in the front, in the back, in the front, in the back, and then finally battled back all the way to take 3rd place. Good job, Big Crippen. You win 50 Glimmer. Next up, we have an amazing interview for you tonight. Tonight we are interviewing the Funky One. The Funky One is a prominent member of the Polka Dot ecosystem, the Moonbeam ecosystem. He's the head of the Teddy DAO, so we'll be talking about that. So here we go. Okay, everybody, please join me in welcoming one of our community members, one of our racers. Everybody join me in welcoming Funky, the Funky One. Welcome to my humble show. How are you this evening?
I'm wonderful, King Waddle. Hope that you are as well. Hope all the Exiled Racer family who's watching and tuning into the show is having a wonderful day as well.
Well, that's awesome. So, let's just dive right in. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Sure, yeah. So my real name is Ryan Hazinski, pretty much fully doxed now that I work full-time for Lucky Friday, which, I have my shirt on. I guess I should have backed up a little bit so you could see it. So I'm the director of fellowship and protocol relations at Lucky Friday Labs, which is a wholly owned operating company by Silvermine Capital. And our co-founders wanted to start a company basically building infrastructure. That's kind of how we got our footprint into the ecosystem. Our CTO is none other than Will, aka Paradox, who was a Kusama counselor and of course had his own business running infrastructure as Paranodes. And so Lucky Friday was born at the beginning of 2022, I believe, or the tail end of 21. And then I was brought on to the team a little over a year ago. So, ostensibly with the role that I already mentioned, but that's kind of changed over time. I do a lot of different things, one of which, of course, is being the very animated and excited head Teddy for Teddy DAO, which was our first NFT project that, our co founders are serial entrepreneurs. They've been in business for a long time. And so what they really wanted to do was, give back. That they've always made it a big mission of theirs to give back and do social good. So that's kind of why we launched Teddy DAO as our first NFT project that's 100% for charity. And that's kind of the big broad overview, but I'm excited to talk about pretty much everything else and see where this conversation goes.
All right. Well, you know what? You brought it up. So tell me about Teddy Dow.
Well,
I
sure.
own a couple
So as I
Teddies.
So most people in the ecosystem know about it. What we're trying to do right now, in fact, we just started a month-long campaign with the help of EAK Digital, and thanks to all the Polkadot token holders who provided a grant, from the treasury, if you will. So this was our first marketing initiative, and it's called the Teddy Dow Christmas Campout. So what we're trying to do, we've enlisted a few influencers to get involved, and as I was saying previously, Teddy DAO is a project that really is all about giving back. And we're partnered with Just Giving, which is a massive online donation platform. It's actually the second biggest in the world. They have, I believe it's over 450,000 charities now in their network. And so what we did was, all kudos go to KBL, David Chapman, who is a principal at Silvermine. He's the one who had this idea well over a year ago. And he actually started with a cold email to the CEO of Just Giving. Have you guys ever thought about getting into charitable giving with crypto? And so this started the conversation, I think back in May of 2022. And so then it's been, because we're partnered with a Web2 company, it took us a long time to launch, even though the smart contract and everything else was ready. You know how it is in crypto, right, way to go fast and break things. And so, we were ready, but of course, the legal wrangling back and forth, but terms of service and all the traditional Web2 things that come with a big partnership like Just Giving kind of slowed us down a little bit. But then we launched at the very tail end of June. We, in our first 2 months, passed the $10,000 mark. Things have slowed down a little bit. The donations are a little bit smaller, but they're every day. And so I think now we're creeping up on $17,000. We hope to have a very strong push in the holidays, maybe get upwards of $20,000 to $25,000 to close out the year. And then we're hopeful to do more in 2024 as people start to get the name out there. One of the big visions too for us and Teddy DAO is to try and get mind share for Polkadot. The ecosystem, there's so many great things happening on various parachains throughout the ecosystem. I mean, just look at how successful Exiled Racers has been in terms of building a community of people who really care about the game and everything else. And and you see these little sub sort of communities within the ecosystem, and many of them are coming together to really rally around various ideas to draw more people into the ecosystem. And so we always thought that Teddy DAO would be a great way to showcase that Web3 is something that is not just all scams and Ponzi's, as whatever the headlines will tell you they are. And one of the other components that we have, and this is going to start in 2024, is we really want it to be educational and help onboard traditional Web2 donors who are already giving to charity in a novel way. Because in the case of a Teddy DAO NFT, it's not like people are speculating on, is the value of the NFT going to increase? People trading in and out of NFTs. What we're really seeing is that people want to just donate funds. We have the ability to have a secondary market, and we hope to actually set that up. You just had recently as a guest Miami from Moonbeans, which I loved watching that episode. I loved learning about where they came up with the name. And so we have, sort of a set 5% royalty in case a secondary market ever does develop, but one hasn't so far. And so that's kind of what we're, in the future, this is why we want the DAO to take control. And if there is a secondary market that develops, Teddy holders will get to vote on maybe a quarterly disbursement to a particular charity. We can vote on these kinds of things through our governance platform. I mean, we just have like a basic snapshot set up for now, but that's kind of like the big picture overview of Teddy Dow and where we are right now and what we've accomplished so far. And I'm really hopeful to be. I applied last year and got waitlisted, but I'm really, really hopeful that this year I'll be on the main stage at ETH Denver and get to talk about Teddy Dow because that could really put the spotlight on not only Teddy Dow, but I think all of Polkadot.
Well, that's actually really exciting. And hey, I might just have an inside line to somebody over at Moonbeans, so we'll see if we can make that connection happen. Which
All right.
actually, it's interesting because that's kind of where I was going to go next. We have our little communities, and we're as time goes on, we're all connecting to each other, right? Like I have a couple teddies myself, and I know other people in the community do. I've heard whispers that maybe we're talking about racing, doing some sort of who knows. I don't want to give. I don't even know. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. But I think it would be very fun for an Exiled Racers Teddy Dow collaboration kind of thing, right? Um, and that's one of the cool things with Exiled Racers as they build and build and build. It's not just about us racing our NFTs. It's about being able to have communities race each other. I know they're building a lot of different things like that. So I think that'll be really interesting. And it's really fun to bring people in. Like I know you yourself are racing in our league this season. How's that going for you so far?
So far, not too great. You saw the last result. But I also want to just give the entire XL Racer team a ton of props right now before I get even more into this because I was one of the first people who was actually doing this on Moonbase Alpha. So if you remember, Wade, what it looked like with just like the basic white track and the star background, there was very little, like it looked nothing like what it's evolved into now. And just being part of that group, the Moon Bearer he had gotten a couple people together in Chaos DAO. And at first we were in another server before the Exile Racer server even began and just meeting some of the team members and kind of the idea. And we were all like, what is this about? What is going to happen? We saw like a very early video of people doing like really fast electric cars around like a little track. And I was like, whoa, those things are really fast. And I remember seeing that video and then getting all excited and amped for that sort of alpha release where we were doing it on the Moonbase testnet. And we only had just the two things. There was like, you were limited to, I think there was only one type of ship, and then you only had two different kinds of boosters to choose from. So it was a really cool to see at the ground level what XR Racer, what kind of the team had for the vision, and then where it's gone to now in terms of just like how it looks. And it's just it's crazy. It's amazing all that they've been able to do. So I feel like I probably need to do more and be more actively involved in racing itself. But like I told the guys on the team, part of why I wasn't racing as often or doing as much was just because it all coincided with around the time that I started at Lucky Friday.
Mm.
So whereas before I was working as a recruiter and I would be on the phone most of the time, but I would always be on Discord servers or in Telegram groups, like while the phone's ringing or leaving a voicemail. And so I had plenty of time on the side to constantly just do the more social things. And now that I actually work in Web3 full time, it's harder to do those social things. But I'm really excited about, and you kind of already gave a little alpha leak to the audience, that there will definitely be a Teddy Dow racing league or competition and collab that's coming. And so I don't know how much I can or can't say, but I'm super excited for it because just even sort of the initial mock-ups that some of the team put up for just like the banners and stuff like that. I think with there's obviously people getting married and everything else, and so we're kind of shelving some of this, but I would keep your eyes peeled for the start of 2024. As they say in racing, start your engines because here it comes. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with Teddy Dow and XL Racers together.
Yeah, no, I think so too. It's funny you talk about that because you were in way before me. I wasn't a part of any of that. Like I came in well after any testing. I didn't see any
Oh,
racing until
wow.
everybody else. I kind of came in. My story of joining this whole Exile Racers thing is kind of funny. I I saw it was out there. I got curious. I didn't know much. Like I know very little about crypto and Web3 from like a real practical, right? I'm a 50-year-old guy just kind of figuring it out. And I just thought it was cool. And I went on the Discord, and all of a sudden I'm talking to BLR, and I was starstruck. I'm like, I am talking to the guy who's in the article. And I just started talking, and the community was just so fun. I just started talking and talking. Next thing you know, I'm I'm winning at the liquor store this twisted T snowboard, and then that became a big deal. And then all of a sudden, became a mod, and then it just grew and grew and grew. And I made the decision when I became a mod that I was gonna help this succeed. I was gonna put whatever energy I had into something. It was gonna be Exiled Racers. And then a couple years later, here I am, right? I got a YouTube show and
Yeah.
a league, and the league just kind of sprung up out of nowhere. I got bored. We were all sitting around waiting for different events to come along, and I'm like, why don't we start a league? And it was a spreadsheet and a Discord, and there was 21 of us, whatever it was, and now here we are, like
So
growing, growing,
crazy.
growing, and it's becoming something. Raking up all of you old schoolers has been part of the fun of the league, right? Is getting our hands on people who were here in those old testing days who've kind of faded off into their big highfalutin Web3 jobs and making sure that they can come play with us, right? And that's the best thing about Exiled Racers. It takes little effort. The actual playing of the game suits guys like us perfectly because you can come in, it takes a couple minutes, boom, you're part of it. And then everything else is just how much you want to engage with the community, which you know you guys are. So tell me more about you though, because I think there's more to you than meets the eye. You do guided meditation on Twitter, X.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
me about that.
So, oh gosh. A lot of what people see, whether they're watching AAG or even now, like I was a teacher, a high school teacher for nearly 20 years. I'm just a lifelong learner. I'm a restless nerd. I love really like I would switch here in Florida. It's pretty easy, like where if you want to get certified in another subject, you just go take a test. And so again, nerd, like I started off teaching English language arts, and I then after 5 years was offered a chance to switch to social studies to teach an AP course. So I jumped at that and I added that to my certificate, did that for a number of years. Then I went and taught mathematics. And then after that, I was a new teacher mentor, and I finished my career teaching a class called Theory of Knowledge, which is for this international baccalaureate program, really, really quite rigorous, high level students, like a low level epistemology class, tons of fun. But one of the things I saw as I was teaching throughout my career, is that students were getting super stressed out, like about testing, about any number of things. And I had become curious about meditation in 2009. I am the world's biggest skeptic when it comes to just about anything. And so when I started reading a lot of the neuroscience about why, kind of explaining the efficacy of meditation, why it's a great practice for your brain, I just fell down that rabbit hole, and I didn't know what it would be like. And of course, I didn't believe any of the things that the literature was telling me at the time. So I had to try it out for myself. And I'm a type A person. I'm always go, go, go. Don't really like sit down or be still for very long. I probably have some form of ADHD or, probably on the spectrum or something like that. But I found that I just started a little at a time, like 5 minutes, and built up to 7 minutes and 10 minutes to a regular practice 14 years later. And by the time after I had done it for about a year or two, I said, I should introduce this to my students. And here we are, that we're talking like in Florida, very conservative place. And, we're talking circa 2010, 2011. And I first start introducing this idea to my students as 5 DBs. And they would come into class and I'd say, okay, we're just going to pause and we're going to like take 5 long, slow, deep breaths and just really feel our breath. Just close our eyes and feel our breath. And I didn't want to call it meditation. I didn't want to call it anything like that. Here we are in 2023. Mindfulness is everywhere. We have apps like Calm and stuff like that. So I was kind of ahead of the curve because everybody's like, don't let the administrators know you're doing this with your students. You're going to get fired, And so, but I just believed in the neuroscience. I believed in sort of just the evidence I had seen in my own subjective experience and just how meditation had helped me in terms of just my ability to focus and everything else. And I wanted to pass it on to students. And so, I felt that it morphed into what became eventually the mindful minute, where I would shut off the lights, I'd have a little bell, I'd ring the bell, I'd do this little script for 1 minute, and the students absolutely loved it. On testing days, we would do it for 3 minutes because most of the science shows that it takes about 3 minutes. Like if your cortisol is spiking, your stress hormone, it takes about 3 minutes for like the brain to take it back out of your circulatory system because it gets into your blood. And so I would do 3 minutes on test days. And so just over time, this really demonstrated to me that this is super effective. It's very, very, it can help a lot of people. And now that I work from home and part of Lucky Friday, sort of around the beginning of this year, I thought, you know what? Twitter spaces were becoming a thing, or X spaces, whatever you want to call them now. And I thought, this is a small way I could give back to anybody who's interested. I know there are other people, and it's funny because every day, it's not a big group that shows up. I think the most I've ever had is like 12 or 14 on any given day. There's always like 4 or 5 kind of mainstays who show up every day. And I do different kinds of guided meditations. Like Wednesday, I do a body scan. And I try to keep that, a lot very low level. Like if you've never experienced it, you can come in, you can just listen and just follow the guided instruction. And at the end of 10 minutes, hopefully you're going to feel a lot better. So I feel like the person I am on X or right now, or a lot of times when I'm interfacing with other people, is just like the teacher version of me, right? Like we all have these different, I mean, even the word persona means mask. And I don't mean it like from a inauthentic standpoint, but just like we wear these different masks, right? I mean, like how we interact with our family versus how we interact with our coworkers versus how we interact with children. We have to kind of take a different tone and stuff like that. So I just love life. I mean, it's funny. You look great for your age, by the way. I had no idea you were older than me. Honestly, Wade, like I'm 48 and I just like wake up super grateful for every day at this point, and I just want to take that energy and passion and pass it on to somebody else like a baton. So if that means doing a 10-minute guided meditation on weekdays, I just want to do my part to give back in some way, because I feel like I really miss the classroom. I miss the dynamic of being around really intelligent students. I am totally lost when it comes to pop culture now. Like whereas before I knew a lot about like, oh, this hip hop artist or that movie or this new book, no clue. I am like full on old man. Who's that? What's happening? Like I like all the time now because I'm not in the
Yeah,
classroom.
yeah.
But I just try and give back, and that's a small way for me to do that, I guess.
Well, that's awesome. I have some experience with meditation myself. I definitely
Oh,
have gone through some of the same sort of things. Um, and so I appreciate where you come from. It's fun and it's nice to have you as part of our community now, right? Like it's all these different wavelengths and different viewpoints coming in and bringing everything to the table, which is only going to grow that web as we connect and expand, etc. And I promise you, I know last week, everyone I talked to, everyone I interacted with did well in their race. So I am going to commit to you to a 3 minute peaceful time. I'll center the entire universe before I run the race so that the
all
funky
right.
one has a chance.
Let's go because I think
We're
I
gonna
was dead last.
channel some positive energy towards the funky one, because right now he's right in the bottom. Now you're right under Pharrell, and Pharrell is we had high hopes for him. So there's plenty of room. You got chance. That realm has a lot of room for people to go, and we still have 7 weeks. So I'm gonna channel some positive energy to the funky one.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Any bit I can
So
get.
with that said, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate talking to you. This has been awesome. It's really nice to get to know the different people, the different connections we're developing through here. Um, Everyone who's watching, all the multitudes of exiled racers and KWRL fans, I welcome you. I encourage you to check out Teddy Dow. What is the website? Where does someone find
It's
Teddy Dow?
teddydow.org is the main website. If you want to just jump right into the auction, because I know we have a bunch of glimmer holders, teddydow.org/auction. But there's a lot of cool things you could do. Like even if you just go to the toy box, because now that we have the custom, bear ability, like we have a bear that we've done two customs now. And we run them all through the multi-sig. I learned how to do this is the one thing I love about Web3. I'm always learning something new. I learned how to do like a batch transaction and have to take like the smart contract ABI and plug it in and which attribute's going to come up. And so this is the one thing I really love about Web3. I feel like my brain's always on fire and I'm always learning something new. And
So,
so, yes, thank you so much for taking the time,
so wait a
Wade. I
second.
mean, it's been
Wait a
great.
second. Hold on. Record scratch. Are you saying someone can make a request for a
Yes.
teddy? So, for
Yes.
example, a person perhaps might ask for a racer teddy.
So, yes, in fact, okay, another little alpha leak for our
Oh,
upcoming collab. I threw out a couple different designs. Big shout out to Mitch because he also threw out one of the designs. And so we had a couple that we thought would kind of fit sort of the exiled racer look and motif. So I think that hopefully, and those aren't necessarily going to be the ones that you know the exiled racer team may want to use, but one of the things we're trying to encourage right now, especially as we're moving into the holiday season, is getting communities or parachain teams or what have you, founders of protocols, to maybe get a custom bear, do a larger donation, and then like put it on their website. Like if you go look at the luckyfriday.io website, you can see our bear. It's got a clover. It was one of the first clover bears, and so we did a pretty large donation. I think it was the all-time high at the time, about $1,200 USD worth of glimmer. I think it was like 5,000 glimmer at the time. And we now have that as part of, like, we support Teddy Dow, and that's what we're hoping for, is that other communities will put it up on their web pages so people get curious, and then maybe it's a hyperlink and it'll take you to Teddy Dow and they can learn more. But yes, anybody can design a custom bear. And for you, when we're done, I'll show you the ones that I sent over to the team
okay.
for the XL
Aha.
races. So you get the look.
All right. No, I have been ever since I found Teddy Dow and got my first one with I couldn't resist. The first, it was like fate. I went to Teddy Dow based on another Exiled Racer's recommendation, and that day the auction was for a king. It had a king's robe, and I was like, I have to have this. And then another one came out with a king's robe and laser eyes, and I'm like, okay, this is mine too. And to everybody watching, seriously, it's you when you log in and make your bid, you get to pick any charity. There's so many charities, right?
Yeah, right now it's the top 200 US and top 200 UK EU, because we're still sort of in this alpha phase with Just Giving. But start of next year, the entire network, the API will ping any of the 450,000 charities, and we're
Oh
working on
wow.
some front end stuff to help narrow it by category and name and make it
Right.
more searchable and stuff like that. There's
Yeah.
more
Well,
updates coming.
I've been happily supporting American dog rescues because dogs need
That's
rescuing
awesome.
no matter where they are. But I look forward to some
Absolutely.
Canadian charities being in there too, and some more King's robe wearing teddies to add to my collection. Yeah, so I would encourage everyone. And then on X, you are
At the funky one.
at the funky one.
Yeah,
So everybody,
THEPHUNKY one.
I
That goes back to
encourage.
my first AOL screen name from 1995.
Oh wow, it's so funny how our screen names come to be, right? My whole King Waddle was just the stupidest and silliest thing. I was logging into PlayStation Network, and we had a PlayStation 2, I think it was. And I just was going in to type Wade as my login. And it came up WAD and then prompted Waddle. And so my wife is like, that's you. You have to be Waddle. And then when I chose my avatar, it was this frog with a crown. So I became King Waddle. And
That's awesome.
that just stayed in the weeds forever. And then I joined Discord and it became my Discord name. And then I joined Exiled Racers and there it was. I didn't change it. And then boom, it became part of my becoming a mod. Next thing you know, here I am, King Waddle. Now I've got the King Waddle Trade Emporium. I've got the King Waddle Racing Network. I am fully branded. So it's been a
It's
really
awesome.
fun
It's a
journey
great story.
how we get our names.
Yeah,
Well, on that note, we could probably talk for hours, but I have to keep the
probably.
shows limited. So it's been super awesome. Everybody, please join me in thanking the Funky One for being on our show. And hey,
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck in this week's and the upcoming races. Thank you very much, sir. That was an entertaining talk. I'm glad we had a chance to get to know each other. I'm glad all of my viewers had a chance to get to know somebody from the community. Thank you for all that you do. And everybody, I would encourage you to seek out the Teddy Dow, find one of those teddies that interests you, and donate to a charity of your choice. Now, the moment we all wait for every single week. Let's get to the races. Every single realm is heating up. We are seeing the development of rivalries. We are seeing the leaders start to make a name for himself. We've got some big hitters that are falling in the back. Let's see if they make their moves this week. For our first race, as always, we're going to head to the Orion realm, and let's go.
And the Orion race is about to begin, folks. Who's it going to be this year? As we get off to the start, we've got Imperator in the lead. BLR coming up strong, takes the lead. GW with an aggressive move. We've got GW taking the lead with King Waddle coming up behind. Michael in the lead. King Waddle, GW. 1, 2, 3, back and forth. Sieves making a move from the back. 8, 7, 6, 5th, 4th place. GW back in the lead, folks. About time we see GW in the lead. That's one heavy hitter who's been behind for way too long. With Cheese and King Waddle battling out in the middle. Michael takes the lead with an aggressive move. Look at that aggression, folks. But GW is having none of it. GW takes the lead and holds on to it. King Waddle and Sieves battling it out for 3rd and 4th, with Gouda Cheese and Imperator in the middle. Imperator, BLR, Abs fighting it out for that middle spot. But back in the lead, we've got Michael and GW fighting it out. King Waddle and Sieves back and forth. It's like these guys know each other, like they're at each other's throats. GW and Michael back and forth again. Sieves making a move, but can't pass King Waddle. GW holding on to that lead. Look at that, folks. GW. Michael, King Waddle, Sieves battling for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Way back in the back of the pack. We've got Ads and Dejectified. Poor Imperator has fallen back. BLR and Gouda Cheese fighting on the middle, but GW holding on to a commanding lead. King Waddle and Sieves. King Waddle, oh, there's Michael. Michael making a move through the corner as we enter the final, lap 9. Still got 2 laps left, folks. GW holding on King Waddle, Sieves, and Michael. Sieves making a move. Final lap, and GW still. Oh, there's Gouda. Gouda makes a move into the lead. Oh, but GW's having none of it. Sieves and King Waddle. Oh, and there it is. GW takes the win. Followed by Gouda Cheese, Sieves, and then King Waddle.
That was a race. Again, every single week, it doesn't stop. Well done, GW. Finally. I know you've been finishing out of character. Welcome back to the leaderboard. Very nice win, sir. Next race, let's go see what's happening in the Andromeda realm.
Here we go. Andromeda, folks. Is it going to be Chris Beck? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be somebody new or the same old 3? Eat My Dust takes a commanding early lead. Look at that. Sums making a move. Sums Chris Beck aggressively pushing, but Eat My Dust is having none of it. Eat My Dust pushes them all back behind him, eating that dust. We've got Sums in the lead. Tycho fighting with Nadine. Nadine makes a move, putting pressure on Sums. Sums aggressively holding her off. Laodician making a move. Nadine, Sums, Laodician all fighting out for 1, 2, 3. Chris Beck, of course, there he is, takes the lead. Oh, look at that. Racer Dev, Nadine, Sums, D-Cut Lover. Eat My Dust has fallen all the way back to 7th, folks. Chris Beck takes the lead. Oh, maybe Nadine pushing her back. Chris Beck again, back and forth. Racer Dev, Laodician and Eat My Dust is pushing again. Here comes Eat My Dust, pushing after Sums. battling with D-Cup Lover. We've got Nadine aggressively holding on to her lead, keeping ahead of Chris Beck. Look at that. She's ahead by about 10 lengths. 10 racecraft. Nadine, she's looking to claim this as her own. Chris Beck in second, followed by Eat My Dust. Eat My Dust. Everyone behind him eating that dust. D-Cup Lover, though, pushing hard in fourth place. Racer Dev, Laodician fighting up in the middle. Sums has fallen back into seventh. Nadine holding on to the lead. Chris Beck and Eat My Dust. Chris Beck and Eat My Dust. Eat My Dust. Oh, there's Racer Dev. Who's it gonna be, folks? We are in the final lap. Nadine holding on to her lead, followed by Chris Beck and Racer Dev. Eat My Dust, though. Eat My Dust. Oh, there he is in third place. Eat My Dust. And Nadine takes it, followed by Chris Beck and Eat My Dust on the podium. Well fought, my friends. Well fought.
As always, the Andromeda Realm fails to disappoint. Everybody's favorite villain, Chris Beck, came in second. Well done, Nadine, for another well-deserved finish. And it's good to see my old friend Eat My Dust up there on the leaderboard. Nice job, well fought. Everybody else, keep trying. Looks like Nadine and Chris Beck are going to be the two to beat in the Andromeda Realm this season. Now let's see what's happening in the Draco Realm.
This is the race I've been looking forward to this week, of course. I put out some positive vibes for the funky one. Good luck, buddy. But Zeral takes the lead from the start, but Pharrell and Schulte are having none of it. Pharrell pushes his way into the front. Zeral aggressively battling with Pharrell. Funky one in third, funky one in second, funky one in the lead. There's that positive vibes, folks. Take some mindfulness. Take the championship. Funky one holding on to his lead, but Pharrell making his move. Zeral pushes past all of them, fighting with XMK. Well done, my friend. XMK finally showing up. Pharrell in third, falls into fourth. Schulte pushed past. XMK in the lead, lap 4. Come on, XMK. Schulte passes him, but Zeral and Schulte battling back and forth. Look at that surf craft pushing hard. Zeral in the lead. Zeral with that fancy mercenary hood. We've got Zeral and Schulte fighting Bemtacrew. Zeral back in the lead with Pharrell making a move. Zeral back into third. We've got fighting out in the middle. Schulte, XMK, and Peenan. Oh, man, the funky one's falling back. Falling back into 7th place as we head into lap 7. Come on, funky one. Bemtacrew in front, but Pharrell's having none of that. Pharrell, Zeral, Bemtacrew, Zeral, Schulte, and XMK. 8 laps. Pharrell holding on to his lead, with Zeral and Bemtacrew pushing hard. We've got XMK coming up. There's Bemtacrew passing Zeral. Bemtacrew, Zeral, XMK, Pharrell in the lead. Pharrell, finally taking the lead as he deserves. The number 1 racer, Pharrell in the lead. Zeral and Bemtacrew fighting it out for second and third. XMK, Schulte fighting it out for fourth. Schulte tries to make a late move, but Pharrell takes the win. Zeral in second, followed by Bemtacrew.
Another crazy race. Hey, I just wanted to say to the funky one, I tried to give you a goodwill boost, maybe some positive energy. Sorry that didn't work out for you. It's nice to see Pharrell making his presence known, taking a well-deserved victory. And there's Zeral again. Zeral in second, and Bemtacrew taking up third. Well done. Next, what's happening in Capricornus?
Hey, Capricornus. Noida Moro, Kaku, Misfits, big names, Limito, back, falls behind, in last place. Maybe it's the post-prize winning purse. We've got the Misfits, Easty and Maxby fighting it up in front. Easty pushing hard early. Easty taking the commanding lead, but Maxby aggressively taking that away. Pacoon and Bullet fighting Easty back in first in lap 3. With Pacoon making an intelligent move. Bullet passing them both. Easty fighting hard, but Easty falls back so fast into 6th place, 7th place. Noida Morrow and Old Functional fighting it on the rear. We've got Pacoon the Misfits fighting it out for first. Oh, there's Maxby aggressively pushing back up into second as we enter lap 5. Pacoon aggressively pushing hard. Pacoon and Maxby neck and neck as they come around the corner, lining them back up from the rear. We've got Super DuPont fighting with the Misfits for fourth. Pacoon loses his lead to Maxby but takes it back right away. Oh my goodness, folks. These races are insane. Lap 7, 3 laps to go. Pacoon in the lead, followed by Maxby and the Misfits, living him and Super DuPont back and forth. Hey, I don't know if anyone's noticed, there have been some graphical upgrades to these races. Everyone's looking so shiny and new. Pacoon in the lead. The Misfits coming around the corner, holding off Maxby. Pacoon lap 9, commanding lead ahead of the Misfits. That's that returning champion, folks. He wasn't going to stay down for long. The Misfits and Maxby, Bullet and Lyman all fighting it out. Final lap. Pacoon with the lead, followed by the Misfits. Maxby fighting hard against Bullet. Liming them making a move, taking 3rd place behind Pacoon as the winner, with the Misfits in 2nd. Ooh, it was a close call, folks. Was it Maxby or Liming them with the 3rd place finish? It was Maxby.
Capricornus, another realm with battles aplenty. Never once letting us down in excitement, in intensity, in the battles. Well done, Pacoon. Once again showing your big brain energy and taking the win. My good buddy Noida Morrow, come on, man. I'm watching, I'm cheering you on. One of these races, maybe. Finally, let's get down to the last race. Let's check out what's happening in Scorpius Realm.
Our last race of the evening, everybody. But it's never a letdown as we watch Scorpius Realm. Here we go. Bowie taking an early lead with Misha and Mia fighting it out. Big Crippen pushing hard. Big Crippen pushing his way forward, but falling quickly back in the 4th place. Back there in the rear, we've got JL Maxi trying hard with some aggression, trying to push past Cry for Max, and she does. Mia aggressively moving, but Cry for Max pushes her back into 8th. Way up front, we've got Devo Sick fighting against Scabba Jabba and Big Crippen going back and forth. Big Crippen pushing up against Devo. We've got Devo holding the lead with an aggressive move, but Big Crippen takes the inside line and takes the lead. Holding off by a length, Scabba Jabba, Devo Sick and Mia fighting it out in 3rd and 4th. Bowie and Misha and Maneke all fighting on the middle. Big Crippen holding on to that lead. Big Crippen's getting the I Want an Award energy, holding off Scabba Jabba. Big Crippen aggressively pushing hard, trying to hold on to that lead, and Scabba Jabba takes it away. Lap 6, and Scabba Jabba's in the lead, but Big Crippen takes it back, redeeming lap 7. Devo Sick and Miami fighting it out neck and neck in the middle, but Emaneke is trying to make a move. Big Crippen with a commanding lead over Scabba Jabba and Devo. Oh, look at there's Bowie. Bowie pushing up in the middle. Big Crippen with about 4 or 5 lengths over Scabba Jabba. The Devo 6 having none of it. Devo 6 pushing hard. Miami in the inside line, pushes into 3rd. Fighting it out, chasing down Scabba Jabba. Big Crippen, though, has got a commanding lead in lap 9. We'll be heading here into lap 10. And Big Crippen fighting off Scabba Jabba. Mia, Devo, Emaneke all fighting it out neck and neck. Who's it going to be? Looks like Big Crippen's probably going to take the win. He does. followed by Scabba Jabba and Mia Miami Center.
Scorpius Realm never lets us down. There are so many storylines developing between the racers in this realm. We see Big Crippen. You know, I never do this intentionally. I never choose the prizes based on anything to do with the current week. But for the second week in a row, after receiving my prize, that person went on to win. So congratulations on two fronts, Big Crippen. Not only did you win this week's award, you also won this week's race. Well done, sir. And there you have it. Another week done. Another 5 races in the books. Again, things changed. We've got myself no longer winning the race, falling back to 4th. We've got Big Crippen taking charge. We've got Zeral Farrell finally making his move. We will see some significant changes in the leaderboards this week. Finally, your chance, my faithful viewer, your chance to add to your likelihood of winning your own pilot key. How do you do that? Well, you answer this trivia question. During the interview with the Funky One, he was wearing a hat. On his hat was a certain something. What was that certain something on Funky One's hat? And there it is, another week. My time with you is done. Thank you so much for being here with me again. I really enjoy this league, the people in it, the people I'm meeting as we go, my interviews. So thank you for joining me. Again, if you haven't done it already, click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my amazing episodes. Have a really great week, and we will see you back here for week 5. Halfway. We're almost halfway through the season, folks. So we'll see you next week, and thanks for joining me.
When you need to buy a pilot or a craft that's faster than the rest, you should be shopping at Moonbeams, 'cause their selection is the best. You should be shopping at Moonbeams, 'cause their selection is the best.